Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to give you 5 mistakes or 5 regrets that we made during our house renovation. And obviously it happens all the time. If it's a big project like that, there's so many mistakes that you can make and so many things that you will regret later, even though you thought that was the best thing to do at the beginning. And that happens all the time, and it's obviously completely normal. But I think if you look back on these things, there is something that you can learn from them, and that's why I decided I want to share just a few of the biggest things that we kind of consider mistakes or regret doing it, and maybe it will be helpful for someone to see and not make those same mistakes for your own renovations. Let's just jump right into it. So the first thing that we regret the most, and it was the biggest mistake, and you may guess it, and it was hiring the wrong people. I would like to rephrase it, I think, and I would rather like to say that instead of hiring the wrong people, what I regret is that we didn't look for more personal recommendations for builders. We hired our builders only about 2-3 months after moving into this house, so we didn't really know anyone around here. And but still, I think it was no excuse to not ask the neighbors for some kind of recommendation for these things. The lesson learned here is to definitely look for personal recommendations as much as you can. Ask neighbors, even if you don't know anyone in the area, there's always neighbors to ask. And if that's not a possibility, then definitely don't rush into hiring someone. Look for more quotes, see more builders, and make your decision after a lot of consideration. So yeah, number 1 is choosing the right builders, hiring the wrong people, or just not looking into the personal recommendations. The second one is what we regret the most, and which is the big part of the whole problem that we had, was that we paid 50% upfront to our builders, which we learned later that you don't necessarily need to do that. That's what they ask for you, and most businesses and companies doing this kind of work, that's what they will ask for you. That's what also our window guy was asking, and all the quotes that we received were asking the same thing. But we later were speaking with some people that we know around here, some neighbors, and they were saying that is not always, it doesn't always have to be that way. And I'm sure if we would have talked a bit more with the builders, and instead of just going, okay, if you're asking us for 50%, we're going to give you 50%. So if we would have maybe tried to talk with them and maybe hire them on a different kind of paying schedule, we wouldn't be running into an issue with them running off with our money. So I think if there is a possibility, or at least trying to talk with the builders you're hired to not have to pay that much upfront, I think it could be a benefit, just in case you have some doubts about those people. And also it's just a big sum of money to pay someone that you don't really know. So yeah, that is, second one is that one of the biggest regrets again is that we paid 50% upfront without really asking questions about it. And the number 3 mistake, which again it considers builders, and we have so many regrets with that, is because that was the biggest problem with our renovation. Other than that, most of the things were going very well. So the third part was, okay, we have hired those people, we have paid them up front, we know what's the situation. We very early on realized that how it works and it's not going to go very well. So the third mistake that we made we were kind of afraid of pointing out all the wrong things that they have done, that we want them to redo. At the point that they were coming and doing something, we were very happy that someone's actually here and doing something, and that's kind of a mistake, that we didn't push for a better result, sort of. There are a lot of things that are done so badly that we could have said, no, we are not accepting this, you have to redo it. I don't, we have light switches and the plugs in the walls, they were all misleveled. I seriously don't know how did they think about it, how did we not notice it, but some plugs are lower, some are higher, and they are literally not even a meter apart, and you can see that difference in the kitchen, where it's like the most, you have a lot of plugs, and some other places where the light switch is lower and another light switch is higher on the same wall, and all these kind of things that it's not a big deal. But when you pay someone and you want to have, you're making a whole renovation, you're not going to redo those things ever, probably. We should have pushed for them to be done properly and to avoid these kind of silly mistakes. But we were kind of overwhelmed and overtaken with all the stuff that they were not doing at all, and that nothing is moving forward, that we didn't see all these little bits that were done wrong, and we could have pointed those out, but we didn't. Lesson here is definitely, next time if we ever have that situation, pushing for things being done properly and in good quality. And the fourth thing is that something that we made the mistake ourselves, that has nothing to do with the builders, and that is taking out the old door frames. I seriously don't remember why did we even take them out. I think we kind of wrote them off like they were not good. There was some kind of rotting at the bottom, I remember that when we were taking them off. But no, if we would have known how hard it is to fit the new door frame and new door in, I think we would have been perfectly fine with that little bit of rotting at the bottom. We could have fixed it with something. And so that is definitely one of the biggest regrets. It was not only a painful job to fit in the frame and the doors, it's also the fact that we don't really like the door that we ordered. In the end, it was hard to find something that we like for the doors. What we liked was extremely expensive and completely out of our budget. Point is also not only the door frames, but we should have considered keeping the old door and maybe just repurposing it in some way, and just look for more ideas. I think when we took the door frames out, took the doors out, we didn't think about repurposing them at all at the beginning. We only started thinking about it later when we were looking for new doors and realizing that we can't find anything. But all that time, those doors were actually just standing outside in the rain, because we just had them written off completely. We didn't want them. They were old and very dark, stained doors. But if we wouldn't have left them outside rotting in the rain for months, then maybe they would have been useful to repurpose in the end, to make something really nice and not spend that much money on it. And it would have been a lot easier to just paint the same door white and leave the same frame and the door, which is exactly what we have here. It's just plain white door with white frame. So yeah, that is a big regret, definitely, and hopefully if we ever have to do this again, we will remember this. And the fifth and the final biggest regret is not leveling out the floors properly. We did level out the floors, and we have a video about that where we were using this leveling compound, and we did the whole floors and everything. but that leveling compound was really expensive, and we tried to use as little as possible. And now when we have the floor in, we living here, we are noticing slight dips every here and there in the house, and that is kind of the thing that, yeah, maybe it was worth to spend a bit more money on leveling the floors properly, maybe even using a completely different method, like maybe properly using a cement and like a thick cement and properly level the floors out. Yeah, and it's just something, it's not going to be easy to change. We have to rip open all the floor, which we don't want to do unless it's really necessary. So yeah, that's again something we wish we would have invested a bit more money in and time and work. These are the 5 biggest regrets that we have for our renovation. So yeah, the biggest regrets has to do with hiring their own builders and a lot of things that they did, and it's obviously our own fault that was happening. But other than that, there aren't really that many things that we regret. We are really happy with most of the things that we have here and how we have done, and the finishes and materials that we've chosen and all these things we are pretty happy with so far. It's only been a few months, so who knows what's gonna happen. Maybe I should do another video in a year or so just to catch up on this one, to see if we are still happy with everything else. The one thing that we are not sure about yet and might change, but might be a regret again soon, is that we haven't put up any kind of proper heating in this house. At the moment, the only thing that we have is the air conditioner, which is set on heating regime, and yeah, we were thinking that we were going to put a wood burner or a pellet burner. That was the thought at the beginning, but somewhere along the way we couldn't decide where would we put it, which one we should choose. So we ended up thinking, let's just see how it is this winter and see if we need it or if we can live with just aircon. So yeah, maybe in a few months I will come back and say that I regret that we didn't do that because it's too cold, the air conditioner is not heating anything up. But yeah, so far we have used the air conditioner on heating and it has been working fine. But then again, it hasn't been that cold yet, it's not proper winter yet, so we shall see about that. I will definitely update on that. But yeah, other than that, that's it. There's only these few things, but they're quite big. And I hope you can learn something from our mistakes, and that's the whole purpose of us doing all these renovation series and all these videos, that in hopes that it's helpful to someone who is in the same position as we are. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. And for the next one, I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly the next one after this, but I will definitely do a video of things that we did and that we are very happy that we did in this house, or maybe things that we didn't think we were going to do, we ended up doing it and we are very happy that we did. So look out for that one, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!